a rare brandy from 1964. We're gonna try it alongside several other pours that our guest brandy expert recommends for whiskey lovers. His family's distillery specializes in making whiskey. In fact, they have won several awards, including Best Bourbon in the World. And the rumor is they were able to do it using some brandy techniques they use from brandy makers in France. So we're gonna sit down with our guest expert. We're gonna try a bunch of brandies. We're gonna report back as best we can because we have hard jobs. Here we go.
Robert Licorice from Iron Republic in Denison, Texas. The simplest form, what is brandy and how does it compare to whiskey?
Brandy in its simplest form is simply just distilled fruit, essentially. So like whiskey is gonna come from grain, brandy is coming from fruit.
If you took grapes, for example, into a still, then that becomes a brandy?
Yeah, you ferment those grapes and stick it in the still and you got brandy on the other side.
Any kind of fruit?
You can distill any type of fruit, Greg.
You can milk anything.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest fruit that you've seen turned into a brandy?
I saw some advertisement for some durian back in the day.
Wait, so if
I don't know.
we aged that durian fruit, would it
No.
have been a
So
brandy?
we did that. We made brandy.
You don't even have to age it. It's
Oh.
brandy already.
We didn't make durian fruit new make. We made brandy.
Durian fruit brandy. Yeah.
Son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
That was one of the first Willow Distilled episodes we did.
It was.
Yeah,
And it
and-
was terrible.
It smelled like a ginger.
Oh.
This episode is sponsored by Cook Unity.
Cook Unity is the first ever chef-to-you delivery service bringing the cooked meals directly to your front door. This is all about the at-home dining experience that you can't get anywhere else. This is chef-made food, professional chefs, award-winning chefs, super good. So you choose from hundreds of meals based on your preferences.
And you can pick specific diets if you need to,
Yeah,
like
the preferences.
vegan, vegetarian.
You got the keto, whatever you got something that you love, you can actually see the professional award-winning chef that made it and then get more things from them. You can see what other stuff that they're making. What do you got?
I have the crispy chicken schnitz from Chris Rattel.
I got the Haitian turkey meatballs by Chef Nahika Hillary. Also tried the mushroom and spinach enchiladas from Maribel Rivera. Those were super good too. You want a bite?
Yeah.
No,
I didn't want one of yours.
but I'll take a bite of yours.
No. Oh yeah, it's good.
It was very super good.
Yeah, you want it?
Yeah, I'll take
No,
this.
that's too big. Way too big. No.
Cook Unity is sourcing fresh, seasonal produce that prioritizes whole foods. And it makes a big difference because the meals are fresh, they're not frozen when it shows up. Can you hand me that?
What the heck?
When you do the subscription, it's very flexible, so you can pause it, you can skip it, you can cancel at any time. So I got a handful of little Rugrats at the house there, and cooking can be a pain in the butt. It's inconvenient, but something like this, so getting really good food, it's healthy, it's delicious. If you want to try the Cook Unity, where are they going, Banana?
Cookunity.com/whiskeytribe.
Or click the link down in the description below and use code WhiskeyTribe50 for 50% off your first order.
No, this one?
Yeah.
No. This one? No.
You.
There's also like cognac and armagnac, and like what are those and how do they compare to? Why is it just not brandy?
The region from which they come from, the styles of which it's distilled in, what it's distilled from, all those things will impact kind of what type of brandy it is. So we are gonna start today with a cognac. This is Pierre Ferrand. So it's from a specific part of France around the city of Cognac. Cognac in general, it's gonna be made from grapes that are grown within the region. There's only certain varieties of grapes that are allowed. Most common is gonna be Uni Blanc. Distilled from grapes in a traditional pot still.
Is it always a pot still?
It's always a pot still.
I'm already
cognac.
excited about this category.
Double distilled in pot still, just like you're gonna see in a lot of Scottish distilleries.
Oh.
It's gonna be aged for generally at least 2 years in French Limousin oak, or there's a couple different varieties of oak, but it's always French oak.
Do they do the same exact style of stripping run, spirit run?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it smells like I would imagine a French people smell like.
It's big on the nose.
Yeah.
Typically, you get a lot of different fruits and floral characteristics typically. Caramels and a little bit more your baking spices. That French oak really comes in kind of on the back end.
I get a little like cinnamon in there.
Yeah.
I feel like I get a weird combo of really huge and vibrant, but then kind of thin right behind it.
They're not typically as oily as you're gonna find with a lot of whiskeys.
Yeah.
The category of whiskey that I think is going to be closest to this is a sweeter scotch.
What pops into my head, because I'm a whiskey drinker, is all of these really heavy-handed wine-finished whiskeys.
Yeah.
Where you pick it up and you're like, that's really a sherry.
Let's try it, and then I have a theory about who I think this could be really good for.
Oh my.
Wow.
That is
very-
adorable.
light and sweet and springy and lively and
Yeah.
It's very soft touch. It feels like chewing on one of those like single serving honey sticks.
it lands with a momentary like a honeysuckle and
Yeah.
a little Speyside whiskey lovers.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
They would love this. Where does that fall in terms of price point in general? What are you looking at for a 2-year-old?
So you're looking at, when you're talking like a kind of VSOP cognacs are typically anywhere from like $25 to $45.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So you said VSOP. What is this?
A lot of the like standards for aging in cognac are actually all in English because of the English trade from back in the day. So stands for very special, and that's 2-year-old.
Yeah.
VSOP is very special old pale.
Oh.
It sounds like an interesting. That's 4-year-old.
Okay.
This is another one from the exact same producer.
Oh, okay.
This is gonna be the opposite end of the spectrum as far as age. This is also cognac.
Okay.
It's all gonna be 25-year plus.
Whoa.
We're looking at this, guys. So
Wow.
this is the higher end of what they do. So that is gonna be kind of in that $200 to $300
Hot
range.
damn.
So
All right.
yeah, so we can get
to keep
expensive.
it.
Yeah, that cork is
Cool.
amazing.
Yeah, that's really sick.
You could brain a donkey with it.
Yeah, you good.
Right from the bottom.
Right from
Oh,
the
yeah.
bottle.
Right from the
Go
bottle.
for it.
No,
I believe in you.
you're making me nervous.
That's hefty.
She's a bartender.
I am.
Yeah. Is she though?
I don't know.
Look, bartending.
All right, I guess I'll do everybody's.
Yeah.
Wow, that is definitely
That's-
super different.
I feel like this is more what I was thinking when I thought brandy.
Oh, the 20.
Like this big, just the weightiness of the
Okay.
nose.
Wow.
Yeah, this is where you start seeing kind of really a lot of the heft that you can get with cognac.
Yeah. What's surprising is how familiar this feels to whiskey. I spent a ton of time in the barrel, but there's elements of this that feel like there's a new oak involved.
A lot of times they actually will start it out in relatively new barrels, you know, like from brand new to like a year or two old.
Okay.
And it'll spend its first kind of year to 2 years in those barrels, and then they progressively move it to older and older barrels. So a lot of times it does start out in new oak or
So
newer
it just
oak.
they just keep slowing it down again. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Oh,
Wow.
That's desserty.
that's luxury.
There's a pear.
Yeah, but it's like a poached, like sugared.
A little
Yeah.
honey in there. That's nice.
What category of whiskey lover do you think would be a good fit for this?
This to me is where you start getting into whiskey lovers that want a little bit more heft, more weight, more oak profile.
American whiskey, for sure.
Even a wine, like a really wine cask forward Highland.
Chateau La Ball, what's it called?
Labad.
La
Oh, and a
Bade.
hug and a kiss. That's so sweet.
What does EXO stand for?
So XO stands for extra old.
Oh, that's helpful.
So it means it's at least minimum 10. Generally they're quite a bit older.
Can we put EXO
Wait,
on a
you were
whiskey
being
bottle?
for real?
Yeah, that's
a real
literally
thing?
what it
Yeah.
stands for.
What? That's crazy.
I told you, we are now kind of in southwestern France now. Condom is actually the name of the city.
It's called Dome.
Yeah, it's spelled that way.
So you're trying to
We're
make it
close.
classy?
Yeah, trying to be cut.
Condom.
Yeah, that's right.
This feels like it's in between the two we tried previously.
It does.
So what you run into with Armagnac is now it's a different distillation style. So they use these old school rudimentary column stills, so it's a single pass to the still.
Yeah.
But they actually are using the wine to cool it down as it's being distilled, so it gets distilled back through the wine as it's going. So you get some really interesting flavors. It comes off the still right around like 52 to 58% alcohol.
All right.
So, and it's there, and then we're going straight in the barrel right after that.
Okay.
Don't even prove it.
No.
Interesting.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Main difference between cognac and Armagnac, is it in the distillation?
Distillation is one of the biggest parts. You also have a little bit different grapes that you can use.
You go from cognac pot still,
Yes.
Armagnac, column still, different kind of grapes.
Right. What's kind of unique is that the distiller goes from vineyard to vineyard, and so the distiller doesn't actually generally like have it. It's not like that distiller owns all that product. The vineyards keep all the products. So he just goes. He's just a minstrel of a distiller.
So is it on a trailer?
Yeah.
Dude, there's
What?
the distiller's on a trailer.
Yeah.
He's a traveling distiller going from field to field.
Yeah, they just get tired out because they need the final product, but they're not distillers. So like,
Right.
we need somebody to distill all this for us.
A lot of the vineyards in Armagnac, that's not their primary product they make. They're mostly
Right.
winemakers.
Yeah.
So most of the houses may create like 7 to 20 barrels a year.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, that's way more vanilla.
it is vanilla and some dark fruitiness. Ooh, and it finishes with cream soda.
That's what that is. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That is funky. All right, next one.
One of my favorite producers
jeez.
of Armagnac is DeRose. And another kind of interesting thing about Armagnac historically is most commonly done in just vintages. It's actually much easier
By
to
vintage,
find.
you mean
Like years.
this one year it was made.
That was it. Yeah.
It's Does that say 1964?
1964?
It does. It does.
Wow.
Holy sh!
1964 is incredibly expensive.
Yes.
And whiskey in 1964, I mean,
And it's
this
not-
is a second mortgage on your house.
This
What
is
that?
not cheap. But, however, it is significantly cheaper than whiskeys of the same age.
Okay, yeah.
You're talking like 500, 600 bucks.
What? No way!
Oh.
Its value for age is unparalleled. So this guy,
Yeah.
Armagnac, they also, other than just your traditional limousine French oak, they use quite a bit of Gascon oak, which is really unique in the fact that it's a black oak rather than white oak.
That is the densest,
Yeah.
most earthy, most cellar-like note so far.
Yeah, that smells like the apocalypse.
It's like you're one of the only ones left, but you're on your own vineyard with castle walls around it.
Yes.
You have to have a little bit darker soul to be able to drink this. So.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
Well,
we have a ginger.
Well, I don't have a soul at all, so.
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
When you start talking about oak that's this old and this well developed overall, one, it's gonna be a heavier oak profile. So you're getting more into more of a bourbon range of oak profile. But this is something more akin to that kind of 15 or 16-year-old bourbon where it hasn't gone so over the edge where it's just drying and on the
Right.
palate.
Yeah, it does have a lot of the maturation of a very old bourbon, minus all of the oakiness. Wow.
Oh, hell yeah. Ah.
Wow, that's weird. It transitioned into almost tawny port.
You get that old grape character.
Yeah, like, so it went from nose being, I could say absolutely like a 15 to 20-year-old bourbon, but with all of the over-oaked notes gone.
Right.
And then the taste went into this sort of toasted almond, candied almond combo.
Some Palo Santo wood and some craft cola. You can't set the bar high. Whatever you pour after this has to be like 500 years old.
Really good.
Yeah.
No. So this is Calvados.
Okay.
So Calvados is going to be from northern France, the Normandy region.
Yeah.
And we are now out of grape brandy.
It's been great the whole time until now.
Until now.
Really? Because it smells pretty grapey.
Feels like it should be a weapon. Or like a
Good
World
sound.
War I hand grenade.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh,
The Germans.
okay.
Yeah.
It is mostly apple brandy generally, but there's also pear brandy
Okay.
involved with it.
Maybe
Like
apple
mixed
juice.
into the same bottle?
Yeah, that they, in fact, their orchards are generally both pear and apple.
Okay. So there's two kinds of categorization in my head. There's, you did all this stuff and now here's what you have to call it. And then the second one is, you're here, so if you're gonna make something, you have to make it like this.
If you want to call this cognac, you have to do these things.
Right.
And if you use your still to make something that's not cognac, then you can never use it to make cognac.
Wow, so
The
the
still?
still.
Yeah, still.
Oh,
Oh,
geez.
one-
If you made bourbon or a corn whiskey with
Cognac,
it, you
come on.
can't turn around and make cognac with it again.
Wow.
That's commitment.
Decommission the still.
Yeah,
Decommission.
that's a commitment to that category for sure. On the nose of this one,
This is funky.
is anybody else finding a little layer of a tobacco note?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a Swisher Sweet.
Also an air. Yeah.
It's almost like a pear citronella type thing.
Yeah.
going
Oh,
on.
like a
citronella.
candle.
Interesting.
Go in. Off
tastes-
filter.
What the?
Yeah, it tastes like it smells, almost exactly.
I get the tobacco more on the taste though.
Yeah. Tiny bit of a thinned out root beer quality too.
That's nice.
No, it's like, yeah. On the
Yeah,
back end.
botanical root beers.
So we are moving on to America now.
America.
America.
Brandy can be made anywhere in the world
Yes.
and be called brandy.
Right.
So the only thing that France is claiming is the subcategories of brandy.
Yes.
Cognac, Armagnac,
Yeah.
whatever the third
Gotcha.
thing is.
So Laird's, so this is apple brandy from America.
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 Laird's is actually the very first licensed distillery in the United States.
I noticed
Really?
she has a pour.
This.
Was it
Yes.
founded by Johnny Appleseed?
It wasn't, but the story of Johnny Appleseed comes because of
Oh, yeah.
This is what
Oh,
He's a
we
booze
wait
hound.
a second.
Yeah.
Did you
What?
know that? Did
That's
you
why
know
we're
that Johnny
I was about to
Appleseed?
shame you.
It's like there's apple in here.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of vanilla in here.
Yeah, there's some definitely apple, vanilla, a little.
This is way more candied than the last apple thing that we tried.
The cheaper versions of Laird's, like this one, is generally a blend of brandy and neutral grain together.
Okay.
Okay.
Way more sweet
Simple too.
and metallic.
Yeah, so the neutral grain is definitely going to make it more simple. How are you going to pour me a 1964 before this?
Yeah, that wasn't the right order.
You're just working your palate up.
This is the strategy. You pour something with a neutral grain spirit before you pull out your own thing.
That's right.
Yes.
So in front of us, I recognize the brands. This is going to be Andalusia.
Yes.
Our whiskey making buddies down the road,
Yeah.
and this is going to be you guys, Iron Root Republic.
right.
This is what did you make?
So we're talking about Texas brandies now, which is
Texas Brandy.
wasn't a thing for a long period of time, and then some of us have been slowly trying to change that into a thing.
So this just falls under all the same criteria we talked about earlier with brandy, just still and fruit.
These are gonna be both grape brandies. This one, ours, this is a kind of a fun release that we do every year that's actually a blend of both cognac and our oldest grape brandies.
Oh, so you actually buy cognac and blend it with your own grape
This
brandy.
is 11-year-old cognac blended with 100-month-old Chenin Blanc brandy that we distilled from Texas.
Oh.
And then Andalusia, Thai, obviously down the road,
Right.
really good friend of ours. This is, they're in a really cool grape area here in Texas, and this is done with an orange muscat grape.
Let's do ties first.
Let's do Thais first, I agree.
Yeah.
What do you call Texas brandy?
We do need to make up a name, and I haven't sat down with Thai.
Gingerac.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
Thai is a ginger, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
That's the Texas Salmon Trail. You go from Andalusia to Iron Root.
It's only 2 stops.
Oh, Lord. So yeah, this is a really different style of grape.
Yeah, like so much creamy vanilla on that nose.
And orange chocolate slices.
So yeah, you
So
get,
I actually get some woody notes.
I was gonna say, there's tannins in here.
I was about to say this is sitting in a very posh, like a lodge on the mountainside.
Yes. Mountainside
Beautiful.
Lodge.
and that's kind of the beauty I think you get, especially with that Texas spirit in that 2 to 4 year range.
What are
get
you
that
doing?
oaky-
Mouthing it. He's
I was
mouthing it.
smelling it really aggressively.
Like this, it's smelling
your
with your
mouth?
mouth.
I have
No,
not tasted it yet.
totally did not taste
You
it.
did
Oh man! God. All right, let's catch
All
up.
right.
If I'm going to talk very broad strokes, what people are expecting whenever they get into whiskey from Texas are very present, obvious, like bold flavors.
Oh, yeah.
In Andalusia's brandy, that shows up.
Oh, yeah.
More so than the French version. It's like very present, very forward, bold flavors, but really nicely balanced. There's not tannin. It's not woodiness. There's like that on the nose, that trace of like a ski lodge, that posh type of feel.
Yeah, you're gonna follow that
Yeah,
think-
yeah. Good luck.
with your stuff. All right.
For us, that's why we ended up in Denison. We have like some really close contacts with cognac because they come and visit us every few years. I've gotten to go over there and hang out over there, which is the way better end of that deal.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
I know a lot of the things that you learned, you guys are applying to your whiskey making.
Right.
And I think that's probably some of the secret sauce that causes you to win too many awards, an annoying number of awards.
Yes, absolutely. And not the one we wanted you to win, which was best whiskey your mom helped you make.
So our portion is going to be distilled from local Chenin Blanc grapes, which grow about 5 miles from us.
Oh, wow.
We actually aged it, and it's 100 months, so whatever that figures out.
Like 8 years.
8 years plus, yeah. So it was one of the very first things we ever distilled was actually this. We took that and we ended up blending it with some, when we brought it in, it was 10-year-old, became 11-year-old cognacs. The reason why we did that is because we were using it to create a really cool balance between the 2 different grape styles.
I was about to say, of all of the things that we've poured so far, this is the most recognizably grape.
Also reminds me of Open 14. Oh, that's nice. Can I?
What is that spicy? Just
Yeah.
So that's our French oak here in Texas. It tends to be.
oh, there's like a strawberry character.
Nice.
You know what? I've always said that I love gingers.
I don't think you've ever said that.
No, I'm very supportive of the ginger community.
Never.
They've been marginalized for far too long.
One day,
Look,
we'll have our
every
day in the sun.
Every time.
Run out of the sun
Yeah,
because you're getting
immediately.
burned. Robert Lickers from Iron Root Republic. Tell your brother that he missed out.
Yeah.
Tell your mom I said hey. She knows.
That's not weird.